Welcome to On the Firing Line on the information station, AM 1440 KUHL. Information, education, news, and politics of firearms and ammunition is found here. If you have any questions, call us at 1-888-625-1440. That's 1-888-625-1440.
An 18-year-old Baytown, Texas resident awoke to noises in his home around 5:30 a.m. Following previous burglary about a month ago, the young man had been given a shotgun by his father for home defense. Before going to investigate the early morning sounds, the resident grabbed that shotgun. The resident found two intruders inside of his home and used the shotgun to open fire on both of them. Both suspects were hit in the torso. One of the suspects died after being taken by ambulance to an area hospital. The second suspect managed to get away and get himself to a hospital, where is listed in critical condition, according to Houston police, who are investigating the shooting, but don't expect any charges against the shooter. Police say the suspects may have been responsible for other burglaries in the area.
You are on the firing line with Matt, Jim, Joe, and John today. Be a part of today's show by calling in at 1-888-625-1440. Or if you are in the local Santa Maria area, give us a call at 928-1440.
That's right. We have a return host today, John Springfield. John, welcome back to On the Firing Line.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Excellent. He's going to weigh in on some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Obama's new executive orders. That's going to be something interesting because it's actually going to block the M1 Garand from coming back into the United States.
Yeah.
Something that's been a part of our history for a long time and is also going to break down one of the shooting clubs that we have out there.
Yeah, a big-time shooting one. You know, it's something that's been in the country for a long time, and it's something that is there so all civilians can learn about rifles or be armed. So we'll talk about it.
Yep, absolutely. It's an icon from World War II as well, something we should all be remembering. Actually, it helped us win that war quite a bit, actually. Also, we're going to have a discussion of the Remington 870 versus the Mossberg 500. So anybody out there, if you're thinking about getting a shotgun, this might be something good so that you can weigh in on your own thoughts of what might be the better shotgun, which one might stand up and which one might work for you. Also, we have a couple of other articles, if we have time today. Should we give weapons to the military support of Syria or the rebels, or should we just stay out of it? I think that that's something important to weigh in on all of our thoughts because, personally, I think that's just the wrong place for us, period.
I hear Syria is nice this time of year, though.
Great.
Touche.
I don't think it's too nice this year, though. Also, China warns U.S. against attack on Syria. And that's going to be an interesting one because the article actually brings up a little bit about the economics of it. You know, China actually gets had gotten $2.4 billion in 2011, and that's through exports. So, you know, when you mess with a country's economics, that's something that can go awry pretty quickly for the people to try to mess with that.
That's one thing every country doesn't want messed with is their money. Everybody wants more of it, and they don't want anybody taking it or messing with it. That's for sure.
All right, so I guess without any more ado here, we'll just get on with the show.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Second Amendment.
That's a good idea.
Quick.
Go on with the show.
Yeah, you know, first of all, the guy used a shotgun. It was an 18-year-old young man. That's a heavy burden for an 18-year-old, but it seems to have worked fine. His dad gave him the shotgun, it sounds like, because of the burglaries going on in the neighborhood, and unfortunately, he became a victim. However, he was able to tip the table and make the bad guys the victim.
Well, you know, think about that. His dad gave him a shotgun for self-protection. How many people do you think out there have a drop jaw right now? I think most of the listeners on this show are going, yeah, excellent.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you get into the wrong circle, you'd probably have people quite appalled by that.
Yeah, why would you give your kid a gun for safety?
It's kind of like a rite of passage, though, you know, like granddaddy's shotgun, passed down to your dad gives it to you. It's family heirloom. It also serves a pretty good purpose.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It fills that double role kind of.
Kind of makes me think of all the people that come into the shop that want to sell their grandparents or their dad's guns that they got from them. That's just sickens me.
All the time we'll tell people, just keep it. Yeah. Even if we can profit from it, we'll tell them, you know, that's something that's in your family, just keep it.
It's like gun could talk, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that says it all. So with the shotgun, killed one of these guys and injured one of them critically. I'm I don't know if that guy survived. He was in, bad critical condition once he got to the hospital. Usually with the shotgun, boom, you hit him with buckshot or something, that's game over. So game over for one guy. The other guy fled the scene and then checked himself into a hospital. Either way, that's two bad guys off the street, so that's good.
That's one of the strong points right there.
Right.
If we had more criminals out there afraid that they might get killed by breaking into somebody's house or trying to rob somebody, and that they really understood the fact that, hey, they could lose their life by doing something like this, maybe that would be one of the hugest deterrents of crimes right there.
Yeah, if it wasn't just the everyday easy target, quote unquote, if they knew, well, we've talked about it before, what if we had to all have guns, if that was a law, like they do in some counties and in some countries where everyone has to have a gun. What do we see there? Less crime, less break-ins, because they know that their life is in potential danger.
Absolutely. All right. As we said before, we do have an interesting show lined up. Obama has announced more executive actions on guns. This actually came out of last Thursday. This is something, I can't believe this. As we're all worried about Syria, this gets slipped in under the radar.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't happen when we're talking about gun control, when Biden's telling people to go buy shotguns and shoot 2 rounds into the sky. It happens when there's all this stuff going on in the Middle East, and most of America who is intelligent and cares about this stuff are watching the Middle East. They're watching Syria.
Absolutely.
And that's when they decide, hey.
Well, the only reason they're doing it is because they couldn't get it through legislation, the first time around.
The legitimate way.
Get the old misdirection play here.
Exactly.
Boom.
Also, I read another article earlier this week, or actually not earlier, I think it was a couple days ago. Actually, I think John, the Marine, actually sent that over to me last night.
John, the Marine?
And basically, it says, Biden says, well, if the legislation or Congress doesn't like this, we'll get rid of them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, how are you going to do that? That's our vice president talking. Oh,
yeah,
my God.
Well, he's already proved that he doesn't know much. I mean, just by the fact that you should go outside, shoot 2 rounds off, empty your weapon, let the bad guys know you have no more rounds. No, that's just a bad idea.
Didn't that happen not too long ago? Some guy did that and got arrested, and so the vice president told him to do it.
Yeah,
that was his defense in court.
I think he got convicted, though.
I'm sure he did.
I would have called Joe Biden in as
key witness.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Subpoena him. All right. The announcements come the same day that Vice President Joe Biden, who has spearheaded the administration's anti-gun efforts since the school massacre in Newton, Connecticut in December. It is set to do a ceremonial swearing in of B. Todd Jones, who was confirmed by the Senate as the director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ABC soup group.
Alphabet soup group.
Yeah. The 2 executive actions are on top of 23 previous executive actions announced by President Barack Obama after the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting. Under current law, the administration says that machine guns and short-barreled shotguns must be registered, and an individual must undergo a fingerprint-based background check to purchase the gun. At present, when the weapon is registered to a trust or corporation, no background check is done. A White House news release said Thursday morning ATF reports that last year alone, it received more than 39,000 requests for transfers of these restricted firearms to trusts or corporations.
Wow, that's a pretty large number.
Absolutely. Obama announces more executive actions on guns. The Senate confirmed B. Todd Jones as the new director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives after Barack Obama nominated him following the mass elementary shooting in Newton, Connecticut. The ATF is proposing a new regulation to change this. A regulatory rule does not require congressional authorization, but does go through a review process by the agency. The proposed rule requires individuals associated with trusts or corporations that acquire these types of weapons to undergo background checks, just as these individuals would if the weapons were registered to them individually, the White House release said. The administration also announced a new policy to prevent importation of surplus military weapons, stating that since 2005, the federal government authorized requests to re-import more than 250,000 such weapons for private purchases. When the United States provides military firearms to its allies, either as direct commercial sales or through foreign military sales or military assistance programs, those firearms may not be imported back into the United States without U.S. government approval, the White House said. And today, the administration is announcing a new policy of denying requests to bring military-grade firearms back in the United States to private entities, with only a few exceptions, such as for museums. The White House announced this new policy will help keep military-grade firearms off the streets.
There's a lot of street crimes with M1 Garands.
That's the whole thing right there.
No kidding. And it's such a, like we're going to tell you, I mean, it's such an iconic rifle.
It is.
I mean, it's kind of like the quintessential American gun, you know.
If more of our grandfathers were around right now, we'd have a million-man march on Washington.
Well, it doesn't make sense. It has what, eight round capacity. It's internal.
Yeah,
internal magazine.
It's not even a
magazines.
magazine-fed weapon or anything.
So it doesn't even meet the requirements for the big black scary rifles.
Well, and not only that, how many of these have been found at crimes?
0.
So
yeah.
what's the point of this? And not only that, think of this: military-style weapons. You know, all of our weapons are based off of military weapons.
Yeah.
There's not a weapon out there that isn't.
It shoots something, so it must be military affiliated.
Yeah, and that's ultimately that's how dry cut it is. I mean, it makes literally no sense. And what I think, why they picked the M1, or maybe not the M1, but any of those weapons, that's kind of their foot in the door to block any quote unquote military style weapon, you know?
It's ridiculous. You know, the order will also close the civilian marksman program.
Yes.
And
that is terrible.
This is something that's been around for a long time, and it's almost a slap in the face to our forefathers who said, no, you need to go out and practice. You need to become marksmen so that if you ever are called upon, you can use a weapon already. We don't have to spend weeks and months to try to train you how to use it.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was just the whole idea of an armed society is a safe society, and slowly over time, I think we've gotten away from that, where even 40, 50 years ago, it was much stronger.
Well, didn't Obama, when he was running, say he wasn't going to take any of our weapons away from us?
That was something he
remember
said,
that.
but he
I
says
guess,
a lot of things.
I guess we can just say things and do whatever we want anyway.
Hey,
Hey, I'm elected now. It doesn't matter, and I'm on my final term here.
Oh, well, I'm the president.
Well, maybe I might get another.
That's a new executive order he's going to pass.
Yeah.
I can be president as long as I want.
Oh my God!
I'll be a dictator now.
Just absolutely.
All right. Well,
ridiculous.
anyway, so that's a little bit stuff. So think about that. The civilian marksmanship program being shut down is a tragedy to all of us here, everyone in America, everyone that has kids, whatever, all of us. It sucks that they're shutting this down.
Check out the CMP while you still can.
Yes, good
Absolutely.
call. Civilian marksmanship program, and that's where you can get your M1s and stuff, and they sell them at a very reasonable price.
Well,
and
they might double now.
And they're going to double.
I don't think they do that.
Well, I don't think that CMP will do it, but they
No.
are going to do it.
You can guarantee those rifles are going to go up. They've already gone up over the past 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
You got to remember when you used to be able to go buy one for $100.
Yeah,
I've
for
heard old timers come in and
stuff
tell me,
like that, yeah.
"Oh, I bought one for $25 when I was a youngster."
Yeah, it's Sears Roebuck. But anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the show for today.
Yep, we're going to be talking about the comparison between the Remington 870 and the Mossberg 500, and we'll be right back with you on the firing line.
We'll be back to more of On the Firing Line with Joe and Jim after this.
This is On the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. We'll be right back with you on the firing line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Building the AR-15, lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies are in stock, as well as a large selection of handguns, tactical shotguns, and bolt-action precision rifles.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes.
Located just off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit, look for the big rifle sign on the freeway, as well as the giant 5-ton tactical military truck. Support your Second Amendment rights and visit Tactical Guns and Gear today. Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifle, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Built in the AR-15, lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies are in stock, as well as a large selection of handguns, tactical shotguns, and bolt-action precision rifles.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes.
Located just off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit, look for the big rifle sign on the freeway, as well as the giant 5-ton tactical military truck. Support your Second Amendment rights and visit Tactical Guns and Gear today.
You are on the firing line with Matt, Jim, and Joe today.
Be a part of today's show by calling in at 1-888-625-1440. Or if you're in the Santa Maria area, give us a call at 928-1440.
And of course, don't forget to check us out on Facebook on the firing line with Matt and Joe.
That's right, we're back on the firing line with special guest John today. And we are going to be talking about the differences between a Remington 870 and a Mossberg 500 for shotguns. And that's what we're going to jump into right now.
Hey, which one do you like, the Remington 870 or the Mossberg 500?
Come, tell me.
I think we'll have to. Here's something I found on the internet that kind of points out the differences between the two, but ultimately it's up to you in the end as to which one you will want to use to defend your life. I've seen both in long-term usage, and while both are great shotguns, I personally, this is Joe, think that the Remington has a little bit of edge because it'll last a little bit longer. I want to make sure that I can go out. There are exceptions. There's always a limit in every group, but hey. I've seen a lot of the shotguns being used for drills and going out and using them a lot, and the one that seems to, you can pick it up every time and use it without any problems, is the Remington usually. I think that Mossberg, though, has stepped up. They've made some changes over the years, though, to kind of bring it up to par.
Yeah.
But, you listen to today's show, you decide for yourself. I think that everybody's got something that they're going to add to it, and also with what we've put together for this information, I think that you should be able to make an informed decision. So with that, first off, let's give you guys a little background. Number one, Matt, you've used the Remington in competition, right?
870, generally it will hold a 5-round magazine tube. You get a 2-round extension. You can have 7 rounds. If you're Jerry Micklick, you can have 28 rounds or something. Get a crazy X-rail. But I personally, with my Remington that I've shot, I have not had the problems. It's a fantastic gun. You press the trigger, it goes bang. I do like the place where the disengage to I guess once it's pumped, the disconnector is a little bit easier to access than on the Mossberg. That's the plus for me. So if I need to do a slug change out or get dump out the ammo and show empty or something like that, it's a little bit easier for me with the way the Remington's set up.
Now, John, you've had your experience with Remington, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And John and we actually have the same 870. I'm going to go ahead and say that before he gives this story.
We do.
Lemon.
It's probably the limit of the bunch, but regardless, it was a negative experience with it.
Right.
Got my new shotgun, wanted to go out, shoot some clays with some buddies. So you go out there, you fire your first one, bang. Of course, I missed because I'm not good at shooting clays, but that's neither here nor there. So I go to rack it to extract it, load the next round, and it would not extract.
It was locked up on you.
Yeah, I thought it was operator error. I'm not too familiar with shotguns, but the Remington was what I knew. So, I'm messing with it, got the disengage, and I ended up having to slam it on the ground as hard as I could to get the slide to disengage.
Slamming the butt on it.
Yeah, and extract the round. So I ended up sending it into the factory. They took it, hooked it up, sent it back, and instead of doing it every time I fired, it was about 25%. 1 in 4 rounds still wouldn't extract.
Ouch.
And it was very difficult to get the round out.
And that's frustrating as all get out when you're trying to shoot clays or even just have fun and
absolutely. I can't
practice.
I can't one-up my friends with a broken shotgun. Let's be real.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, that can be disheartening.
So, like John said, there's kind of the lemon in every bunch. So, if you have something, one of these two, and maybe, you're like, well, mine's terrible. What do you mean all these things work great? Sometimes they're not, when they're running them through the factory, all it takes is one millionth of a thing to mess it up,
Yeah.
So, but There's different the differences between the two. We have a lot of them lined up. Kind of. We'll talk about
Let's
that.
talk about the receiver right off the bat.
Receivers.
Number one on the 870, the receivers are a steel receiver compared to the Mossberg 500 that has an aluminum receiver.
Right.
You know, the pros of that really are the fact that the Mossberg 500 is a little bit lighter over the heaviness of the 870, and you know, I don't know, longevity. You'll have to think about it.
Right.
You got to figure, while it's the Mossberg is a little bit lighter with the aluminum frame, I don't think that aluminum necessarily has the strength of steel. But then again, we also have the situation where steel can probably rust a lot easier. Well, we know aluminum doesn't rust, but it can deteriorate. So
Right.
that's something to think about. We also can go into the action on the Remington 870. The Remington 870 utilizes dual action bars for smooth and positive operation. This is a very positive feature for longevity. And on the Mossberg 500, the Mossberg 500 currently utilizes a dual action bars for smooth and positive operation as well. But the pre-1970 models utilize only one single action bar, which kind of could cause guns to jam and could wear out a lot quicker. Now, the action bars are the two bars that come off of the forearm, and they go back in and they help pull back the bolt and load your next round.
Basically,
right up
when you
into
pump
place.
the pump, that's what sends the bolt back.
Right.
So if there's one on each side, it evenly just sends it back. When they had it only on one side, it was almost like it would bow a little bit, and so it was not as dependable, and it was binding up.
Now, here's something that's going to be kind of interesting here, because Matt was telling us how with the Remington he could actually put an extension on it and hold, I believe it was 6 rounds.
7 in the one in the pipe and 7 or 6 in the
Right.
tube. Yeah.
Okay, so Remington 870. The Remington 870 utilizes a barrel band, which slips over the magazine tube, and the magazine cap serves only to prevent the barrel from sliding off the receiver. Due to the above, due to adding a magazine extension or using one is easy, and it makes no difference what type of barrel you have installed. Remington currently puts dimples inside the magazine tube to prevent you from adding a magazine extension. In other words, once you put the spring back in after you've put an extension on it, you can still only put so many rounds into it, because the burrs will actually catch them and stop the stop or the plunger inside there. Now, this is done for political reasons, of course. They don't want you to build an evil shotgun. But
A Sega.
and they want to force you to purchase the more expensive Police and Marine Magnum models if you want the extended tube. However, the dimples may be removed with some light grinding of a Dremel tool or a round file, which restores the 870 to fully upgradability. Older 870s did not have this problem. This is something I don't like. I don't like the fact that they put those dimples in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another. It's another rule, another limiter, I guess.
And it's caving into gun control too,
exactly.
which is not a good sign.
Yep.
The shortest possible non-short-barreled rifle and extended magazine length will be 18.5 inches. While with a shotgun, really, you can get it down to 18 inches. That should
Yep.
be totally fine.
Yep.
And with an extended magazine, the 870 will hold 6 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the barrel for a total capacity of 7 rounds.
Yep.
Now we move on to the Mossberg 500. The Mossberg 500 utilizes a barrel band which screws into the end of the magazine tube, utilizing the barrel and magazine together. Due to this, it's impossible to add an aftermarket magazine extension because the barrel band and integral end cap are in the way. Factory and aftermarket barrels with an extended barrel band are available for those who wish to add magazine capacity. One must also purchase the longer magazine tube as well.
Yeah.
The shortest possible short-barreled rifle and extended magazine will be 18.5 inches again. So, I mean, they're pretty much neck and neck here.
Yep.
The 500 has several possible barrel and magazine tube length combinations, which will hold 7, 8, or 9 rounds in the magazine, depending on the type, and 1 in the barrel for a total capacity of 8, 9, or 10 rounds. The standard magazine tubes hold only 5 rounds with 1 in the barrel for a total capacity of 6 rounds again.
Yep. And even, saying only 5 or 6 rounds, when you're talking double-aught buckshot or slugs, that's still pretty damaging. You know?
Absolutely.
You think a buckshot has roughly 9 millimeter size pellets in there, or 32 caliber pellets or something. And, 9 of those, so you times that by the number of rounds that you have in there, that's a lot of shots from a pistol, basically, that it adds up to.
You know, and speaking of that, slugs. You put
Slugs are
slugs
awesome.
in a shotgun, you can go through a car. You can hit people on the other side of a car, no problem.
Yes.
Slugs are
No
pretty
joke.
dangerous.
Yeah, slugs probably within 50 yards, probably the most devastating thing a civilian can own.
And you can,
Absolutely.
You can have the rifled barrels, which extend the range
Yeah,
for your slugs
100
as well.
yards, 150 yards. Yeah, it's great for hunting. You see that. Go ahead.
I've had a military friend tell me once that if you were to use slugs in your shotgun, you could actually hold off a battalion with your shotgun as long as you had plenty of ammo, because there's nowhere for them to hide.
Yeah, you just punch through things and drive. It'd just be like having a 50 cal type, but just racking it. And
We better not
boom.
give anybody any ideas that might ban these things.
Oh god. Actually,
You can do what?
I heard a couple stories.
Just don't let it be black.
Dun, dun, dun. Last month, I heard a couple stories of shotgun slugs hitting people in the skull and just bouncing right off. Actually,
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it's just your skull is just basically body armor for the brain.
I've heard of that happening, with like 45 rounds on like
Right.
Pigs.
and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when I heard, I was like, I couldn't believe that, man. I was just like, I couldn't imagine a shotgun slug hitting you, rattling you, and then you wake up from it. It's like, what the heck?
You'd have to be looking up when that thing hit for it to glance off, because I'm sure one square on a head.
It's the old magic bullet, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Dang.
No kidding.
Well, this next one leads back to the problem that John had with his 870. Remington 870 only utilizes one single extractor, while the Mossberg 500 uses two extractors, one on each side. The one thing good there with the Mossberg 500 is you got two hooks grabbing on each side of the brass on that shotgun shell to pull that thing out. Whereas with the 870, you only have one. So even if there's any wiggle in there or any room for movement, or you have some weird burrs inside of there, you pull on one side, it can get hung up real easy.
It's kind of like the action bars or whatever we were talking about earlier. Just
Right,
having
yeah,
one,
same-
it's more room for error. So
Exactly. Same type of difference.
two equal pressure, it's easier to remove it.
Yep.
And and the one on the Remington is on the right side, so it hooks it out through the ejection port, which I get that design, but still having two in case one, all it takes is a spring to not have the full tension, and it's going to not jack the round out.
Things
so
can get messed up
having
in a
two
real
of
hurry.
them, that's one area where I think the Mossberg is superior, is the fact that it has the dual extractor.
Yep. All right, let's go to the slide release. That's something that Matt had mentioned as well. He likes the positioning of the slide release so that he can pull that forend back and do a tactical reload or whatever he wants to do. The Remington 870 utilizes a slide release button on the forward left of the trigger guard. Due to this, the slide release is difficult to reach and requires either long fingers or the displacement of the shooter's hand from the shooting position.
I guess Matt just has long
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah, I'm looking at my hands. I don't really have long fingers.
I wonder
but-
if they have this backwards. Mossberg 500. Mossberg 500 uses a slide release button on the rear right of the trigger guard. Due to this, the slide release is very easy to reach and requires no displacement of one's hands from the shooting position. Left-handed shooters will have no difficulty reaching the 500 slide release. Here's the thing. When you're doing if you've shot any kind of competitions or if you've had to do reloads real quickly with your shotgun, I think that I like the Remington slide release a little bit better too, because it makes a lot more sense for you to be able to move that trigger finger or something else right just a quarter of an inch or half an inch away.
Yeah, it's like
and
up and under.
Well,
Kinda-
yeah, it's just in front of the trigger guard.
Yeah.
Directly in front of it, basically.
And with the Mossberg, you're literally going to have to break your handhold on the
Right.
rifle
Yeah.
to get anywhere into it.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with what this person's saying on this.
Yeah, I will agree with Joe and say that the Remington is easier and the Mossberg is more complicated. But if you practice with the Mossberg, you probably think different. So whatever one you're putting the most time in and investing the most time in, that's going to be whatever's easiest for you.
I'm waiting for somebody to call in and say I like the Benelli.
KSG, dude. I mean, what, 14 rounds?
Yeah.
Dude, what's going on?
Yeah, I do
people?
like that. Although that's going to be kind of tough to get used to because your reload, I don't know.
Yeah, but
you're going
that-
to have to pull that off your shoulder.
It's different, so it's scary.
yeah,
You
that's
you
true.
got to point it upwards to reload it, pretty much, or straight down, one or the other.
So the KSG versus the Mossberg. and the-
Yeah, tune in next week.
But
All
it's
right.
14 rounds, and that's cool.
Now there is the shell lifter. This is another piece that can be considered as well when you're getting into these two weapons.
The elevator.
Yes, this is the piece that as you pull the forend backwards, it'll actually, there's like a little lever inside there that grabs the next round, releases it from the tube, and allows it to pull up so that it's positioned so the bolt can grab it and push it up into the chamber. On the 870, they utilize a shell lifter that is in the constant down position. Due to this, combat reloading is more complicated and one's fingers can be pinched when inserting shells into the magazine. Again, this is somebody else's opinion, but it's kind of neat to see the differences here.
But
this person may be biased, but
yeah, and that's something your fingers are going to get pinched if loading a shotgun, no matter what, unless you practice it a whole lot. Even when you do practice it a lot, you know, when your adrenaline's pumping, when you thumb around into that magazine tube, usually your thumb goes a quarter or a half inch in too far. When it comes back out, it gets caught on one of the sides or something. And it's, you know, I mean, that's not the end of the gun when that happens.
It's just a matter of knowing your tools and being comfortable with what
you're
working with.
Very good point. Practice, practice, practice. You know, with the Mossberg 500, they utilize a shell lifter that is in the constant up position. This person says that due to this, combat reloading is simplified and easy. The bottom of the bolt and shell lifter act as the shell guide to blind round insertion during a combat reload. So basically, instead of having to push the piece of metal out of the way, it's already out of the way, and you can just slam it right into the tube.
Yeah, but it's not really an issue of pushing it out of the way. I mean, it's on a, you know, I mean, it tilts. As soon as you have a shell and it touches it, it pretty much goes up anyway.
Right.
But anyway, it's you know, all this stuff is to be debated, and that's why we're talking about
it. It's you practice with your weapon, get to know it. So after a while, it's muscle memory. Yeah, and you don't have to think about it so much.
The weapon's the tool, and you're the master, or you're the tool and the weapon's the master. So on that note, we're going to take a break before we get into a little bit more stuff about the 870 and the 500. And so hang out and stay tuned for On the Firing Line.
All right, we'll be right back with you.
You're listening to On the Firing Line on the information station.
This is On the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. We'll be right back with you on the firing line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Built in the AR-15, lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies are in stock, as well as a large selection of handguns, tactical shotguns, and bolt-action precision rifles.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes.
Located just off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit, look for the big rifle sign on the freeway, as well as the giant 5-ton tactical military truck. Support your Second Amendment rights and visit Tactical Guns and Gear today. Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Built in the AR-15, lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies are in stock, as well as a large selection of handguns, tactical shotguns, and bolt-action precision rifles.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes.
Located just off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit, look for the big rifle sign on the freeway, as well as the giant 5-ton tactical military truck. Support your Second Amendment rights and visit Tactical Guns and Gear today. Tactical Guns and Gear.
Welcome back to On the Firing Line with Matt, Joe, and Jim, and their special guest, John, today. If you'd like to call us, what is the number?
You can call us in at 1-888-625-1440, or if you are in the local Santa Maria area, give us a call at 928-1440. So, we are back on the firing line discussing Mossberg 500s and Remington 870. Those are shotguns, scatter guns. And right, we just left off kind of with the trigger guard, and I think we're going to
with the shell riser,
the shell riser.
Now we're into the manual safety here on
the
these
safeties,
firearms.
which is
This is my safety.
This is my safety, sir.
You know, that's an excellent point. Your finger and your brain are the best safety. And as a matter of fact, on the handgun safety test that you have
That's
to take
the answer,
to get,
yeah.
you cannot put on there that it's the primary safety.
Yeah,
if you do answer
Finger.
yes,
Yep.
finger is the primary safety. Here's the thing: is you never know if a safety's broken inside. It's an internal piece.
Right.
You have no idea if it's broken.
It's not
until
something
too
you
late.
want to test. Let's just say that, you know.
I've seen some good stuff on YouTube, though.
Yeah, well, YouTube
All right.
it.
The Remington 870 utilizes a standard crossbolt safety, which is placed on the trigger guard. You press the button to the right to put it on safe, and press the button to the left to fire.
And I think for me personally, it's easy. Pressing it to the left to fire is very easy. You know, you just click it. It's right before you snatch the trigger up, and that's simple. Safing the gun is a little bit more complex, just because for me personally, it's not on the right side where my hand already is.
Right.
So I kind of will have to roll my finger under it, or roll my thumb over the top and do it. But either way, I can still very easily engage and disengage the safety in between shots. It's not a deal breaker by any means.
Well, then this might be one where the Mossberg 500 actually comes in a little bit better, because the Mossberg 500 uses a sliding safety, which is placed on the tang of the receiver, which means you don't really have to break your hand off the gun or your hold to utilize that.
Yeah, I do agree. All you have to do is just
move your thumb.
Yeah, move your thumb forward, back. You're good to go.
Yep.
I don't know, with that type of safety, I see more of an air of it being on safe on accident or off safe on accident. I don't know why, but it's just probably because
you got to get back down.
I was just gonna say it's probably just because I don't have that gun, so I don't shoot it all the time, where I have the other one. So, but everything here is to be debated. Call in and debate.
Absolutely. Anybody out there that wants to call up, give us your experience between the two, please do.
Tell us what shotgun's better than these two. We'll talk about it.
And remember,
I like how I just reading up on the safety part here. They talk about benefits for combat, and if you injure your hand with the Mossberg, you can still engage the safety with your chin if necessary. So.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, Mossberg wins. End of discussion.
I think that's the last thing I'd be thinking about. In combat and I'm hurt, I'm not putting that gun on safety.
Where's my hand? I need to put this gun on safe.
Hold on. Oh, thank God. Thank God I didn't get shot in the chin. They wouldn't be able to safe my gun. That's pretty funny. And, so I guess the person who wrote that thinks that's a viable reason.
I think the show's done. That's it right there.
All right, yeah.
It's been on the firing line.
And also something that I'm going to add real quick. In the 500s, they have beefed them up with the 590 A1 series.
Yes.
Those do seem like they're
pretty
kind
solid.
of heavier, more like the Remington a little bit. How we talked about the Remington might be a little heavier with the Mossberg having the aluminum. But the new 590 A1 seem that they're heftier to me personally. I still don't know the gun real well, but I know it enough to where I would probably choose the 590 A1 over the 500. But it's still the same basic platform.
All right, now back to the differences between the 870 and the 500.
Yes.
We will move on.
I digress.
The Remington 870 utilizes a steel trigger guard. It's going to add a little bit more weight, but it's not going to break. While the Mossberg 500 utilizes a plastic trigger guard.
I got a question.
Yeah.
On my 870, it's got a plastic trigger guard. Why?
Oh, because you bought one of the cheaper ones.
Oh, shit. All right.
Although you can upgrade the 500s or the Mossbergs. The Mossbergs or the Remingtons up to whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true. There are almost these shotguns. The companies are almost have gotten to the accessories of ARs.
Right.
It's pretty much endless of what you can do with a shotgun. I mean, as far as putting on extra shells, magazine,
GG&G.
Yeah, just them alone. You can buy so many, magazine. You can throw your
followers, your
everything.
forends.
Yes,
you can put the shotgun shell holders on the side. The saddles.
Yep, the saddles. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah,
I mean,
lights.
Forends.
Yeah, you can get the Surefire lights for them.
Single point
Magpul.
sling pieces for it.
Yep, everything.
Magpul too is starting to do it.
Yeah, Magpul is making
huge.
their own stocks, their own pumps, all kinds of stuff. Light holders. So shotguns, the accessories for them, you can almost tailor it to exactly how you want it, and I like that fact.
Well, here's something on the forend. On the 870, the Remington 870's forend typically exhibits a good fit and only has a little bit of shake to it, not a whole lot of movement, which means it's pretty sturdy.
Shake.
While the 500, the Mossberg 500's forend is somewhat loose and will rattle if not held or otherwise secured. As long as the pieces are machined well and it's standing up, you've got 2 slide action bars in there.
Yep.
And they're pretty secure inside there. I don't think you're really going to run into too much problem unless you're Hercules and you're just manhandling the thing to where you're just warping.
Yeah, unless you literally twist it so much. It's like Mossberg had the ones that came with, I think, the lights that were made by Insight that had the built-in tape switch on it.
Right.
And once those were, the pump on those felt like they were super wobbly.
A little wobbly.
But again, like Joe was saying, I'm sure if you held onto it right and made sure it was just nice and smooth, it wouldn't be a problem. It just seems like a problem when you look at it. You're like, why does this thing move so much?
Yep. All right. Last but not least, military use.
What?
The Remington 870 is in current use with the U.S. Armed Forces.
America.
But the Mossberg 500 is also in current use with the U.S. Armed Forces. It is the only shotgun to have passed the U.S. Army's Mil-Spec 344-3E test. I'm not quite sure what that test is.
3443E test, yeah, and whatever it is, so if the Remington didn't pass it, who knows? It was probably the test to see if you had a double extractor or something.
Does it shoot after I throw it in the mud, the sand, dirt,
better.
ice, snow? That's where the tolerances come in.
It better, and it better.
If it's loose, much better. It's like an AK, right?
Right.
Duh.
All right, we're going to take one more quick break, let you guys know about a couple of things out there. And when we come back, we are going to break into this last story. China warns U.S. against attack on Syria. And we're just going to kind of talk about that a little bit because it is kind of a hot topic out there, and it's something that we should bring up. So we'll be right back with you on the Firing Line. Now, a great word from Santa Maria Motorcycles, formerly Santa Maria Harley-Davidson, located at 2022 Presker Lane. They are dealers for Honda, Kawasaki, and Harley-Davidson. Grab your family and go see the museum, filled with exciting older bikes that you won't see anywhere else on the Central Coast. As well, they are the #1 motorcycle dealer on the Central Coast with the largest inventory around. Go in and see Martin Buchanan, or you can give him a call at 805-928-3668. You can also go visit them every first Thursday of the month for Bike Night. Starts at 6 p.m. Have a great time with your family at Santa Maria Motorcycles.
On the Firing Line is happy to have Law Offices of Christopher Coleman as a sponsor. The Law Offices of Christopher Coleman is located in Santa Barbara on 2019 B State Street, specializing in personal injury and, more importantly, the Second Amendment and On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give them a call at 805-682-3352, serving the Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo areas for over 25 years.
We'll be back to more of On the Firing Line with Joe and Jim after this.
This is On the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. We will be right back with you on the Firing Line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifle, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Built in the AR-15, lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies are in stock, as well as a large selection of handguns, tactical shotguns, and bolt-action precision rifles.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes.
Located just off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit, look for the big rifle sign on the freeway, as well as the giant 5-ton tactical military truck. Support your Second Amendment rights and visit Tactical Guns and Gear today.
You are on the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. Be a part of today's show by calling in at 1-888-625-1440, or if you're in the local Santa Maria area, please give us a call at 928-1440. On the Firing Line is happy to have Law Offices of Christopher Coleman as a sponsor. The Law Offices of Christopher Coleman is located in Santa Barbara on 2019 B State Street, specializing in personal injury and, more importantly, the Second Amendment and On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give them a call at 805-682-3352, serving the Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo areas for over 25 years.
46 minutes after the hour, and you're listening to On the Firing Line. And the phone numbers, once again, are, fellers,
888-625-1440, or if you're in the local Santa Maria area, give us a call at 928-1440.
And then if you just want to write an anonymous note how good we are, you can catch us on what?
Well,
Joe?
Facebook.
There you go, buddy.
On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give us a call.
And you can listen on am1440.com and click the Listen Now button at 405. Boom.
And then once in a while, we're streaming, too. So
Yeah, and
Just not
screaming.
Did we cover everything?
I think between those commercials and that, I think we got it done. I think
Well,
that's all.
occasionally you can text people while they're on the air
Oh.
to try and get them to do things.
But we will not give our text.
But I would never do that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this other stuff. We pretty much broke down the 870 and the Mossberg pretty good, I think.
I think so.
We said pros, cons. I think between us, we like the 870. John has had his little negative experience or whatever. But for me, Joe, I know it's an 870. John, I know you would probably pick one up again if you knew it worked.
I just want a shotgun that works.
There you go.
So,
Well, maybe I'll get you one. Who knows? But we're going to talk a little bit about
Buy a
Syria.
Taurus.
Don't say that. Let's talk a little bit about all this
English partner.
backstabbing that's going on to us from our president.
Well,
I'm gonna call it
that was pretty well put there. I mean, I didn't say it.
I said it.
And I might have to agree.
Dagnabbit. I said it.
Okay, here's the thing. Syria, right? we've all been hearing this from Syria.
Are you
or
Syrian?
on the news? The fact of the matter is, can we really go into Syria? We've got two enemies there. We've got Al Qaeda running around with the rebels, and then we've got the regime that's in control right now.
Mossad.
Neither one of them are people that we want to back up. We can't send weapons in and help Al Qaeda that'll end up being used against our soldiers.
Hell no.
We can't help somebody who's been attacking Israel and accepting weapons from Iran and giving them money.
Yeah,
and,
the
and doing all
Assad
kinds
regime.
of things.
Yeah, they're about as
We're in a
evil-
double-edged sword. Not only that, you have two Muslim factions here going at it. And if you send a Christian army in, guess what?
Are they both Muslim, or is there like a common? Isn't the Mossad? They're like the combination. Not Mossad. Excuse me.
Assad.
Yeah, Assad. Isn't it kind of a quasi-Islamic? There's like 4 or 5 different things spin around there.
I heard them on. I was watching CNN last night, and they were talking kind of about that. I
Yeah.
still am not real sure
Yeah.
about it, but their core beliefs are the same, and then their outside beliefs differ.
Well, you,
Oh,
you have,
that's it.
you have the Shia and the Sunni. One's a little
Well,
more
it's
extreme
even
than the
worse
other.
than that.
Yeah, and they're a little more modern, so to speak.
Yeah, they're modern.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
The bottom line is they are, right?
Yeah, they're Muslims.
So
They're all Muslims.
They're all Muslims.
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
So
Bottom-
you know,
yeah.
we get involved. This thing could go bad in so many different ways. It's not even funny.
But they did kill 1,300 people with gas.
Well,
Lots
that-
of
no,
kids
no,
and stuff.
That's
Understand.
that's never a good thing.
Always, never.
No, but
Always, never.
Always never. The UN can do something about it if they want. Like, we don't have to lead the strike. This doesn't have to be a American-led strike, because we've been fighting AQ for how long now? And
Yeah.
it seems a little counterintuitive to be like, all right, AQ, we got your back against Assad now, who's kind of a
I
bad
agree with
person
you.
anyway.
I agree with you, but we're the biggest bully around. So it's like, we're the ones that they got to, if you were listening, I listened to JN1 television, which is the Jewish network television.
right.
And they're saying, well, the Americans should get involved. They're the big guys on the block, kind of thing. So they expect that from the Americans.
Because Israel can't handle themselves?
Well,
Like-
it's just that, no, this was,
Yeah.
I
this
think
was
they can.
Europeans and
Yeah, exactly.
Europeans
Yeah.
and, well, of course, the Europeans aren't going to get involved. The French back out of everything.
I say we tap out and let this one sort it out,
Yeah,
sort itself
if
out.
anybody UN, otherwise I say I agree with John 100%. Let these people attack they're fighting in Syrians fighting Syrians over stuff we don't really. It doesn't have an effect on our day to day.
Yeah, I think
So-
I was telling the guys out in the parking lot, Sarah Palin was saying, so Syrians are bombing Syrians, so what is us bombing Syria going to accomplish?
Yeah, and that's a great. It would just be that you're adding on top of
mere
it.
genocide there. I mean,
But
they're raping
I
a lot
understand
of people. I
what
mean,
you're saying. But we
Auschwitz
cannot-
wasn't
I don't see
long
that
ago,
as
you know?
quite
We cannot be-
genocide. I'm
we-
sorry.
Well, they killed children and
Even
everything.
though
It's-
America
it's
is the
That doesn't make it
strong-
genocide.
with
No,
America
but
having a
it's,
strong
they're
military.
still trying to kill off lots of people at one time with the gas.
Well, isn't that one of the reasons we invaded Iraq in the first place, was because
Yes.
Saddam was using chemical
Supposed to
weapons?
be, yeah, right.
Right. So
Against the Kurds.
we invaded an entire country to
Over this same
stop
matter.
somebody from using chemical weapons, and it didn't stop anybody else from using chemical weapons, clearly.
Correct.
So what are a couple strategic airstrikes going to do?
Nothing.
Exactly.
It's like what did Clinton do? Didn't he hit a
Well, yeah,
a
exactly.
milk farm or something?
Yeah.
He's trying to.
Aspirin factory.
Yeah, it was an aspirin factory. Yeah.
I agree with you. It's just that it just seems
Well,
so
no,
wild
and
that these.
so
So
many.
what are we the police of
I was
the
ju-
world
that's
now?
what I was just going to say. Is just because America is the greatest military
Or have been.
and we're the greatest country on earth, does not mean that we are the world police.
No, I agree with you
We don't
100%.
have just because something's going on no matter where it is. I don't think we by any means have to go protect them. Yeah, it sucks that 1,500 people died in a chemical attack, and that shouldn't happen. But this is not our problem, and I'm not trying to be callous about it. It's just that's the way I see it. It's not something that is affecting me. It's not, but it is something that could affect me through my friends if they have to go over there. So with
I
that,
don't
it's just-
want Al Qaeda or anybody else getting a hold of these chemicals and using them against
Well,
us.
that's for damn sure.
Either. And maybe if we're going to throw some strike out there, maybe we should just get rid of the wherever we have them suspected to be, or use our intelligence, get them as they're coming out of the country, and stop them there.
I didn't get
I don't
that,
know,
Joe.
but-
Did you hear that? They're gonna shoot missiles to the delivery system. I mean, what was that about?
So you're gonna load the chemicals into a rocket and launch the rocket somewhere. So the rocket's
Right.
going to be your delivery vehicle.
Yep.
So we're gonna attempt to stop their
All right, thank
rocket
you.
launcher, so to speak.
Because I was like, what?
It's
Fucking
just
trucks
a,
going
it's a
down the
bad
road,
thing.
but,
But on top of that, you
You know,
have
you start
China
thinking
and
like
Russia
that.
telling us, hey, don't get involved. Stay out of this. This is not something you should be doing.
So do the English.
Why do you think China's saying that? I mean, I've got an article here that says China is Syria's largest trade partner, with exports from China totaling $2.4 billion in 2011.
There it is.
But an analyst said economic relations with Syria, which has modest oil reserves, were not a primary factor in Peking's opposition to the military action. I'm sorry, but when it comes to money, you know that's a big thing right there.
It's a driving factor always.
World wars have been started over money and economics.
Exactly.
Most wars that have been started, whether one way or another, one form or another, money had to do with it. Whether it was actually oil or airplanes, tanks, whatever it was, all that stuff costs money.
We're not in the best relations right now with Russia.
What are you talking about, brother?
Yeah, but who cares? You know,
There's
Russia,
a
it's just
lot.
Russia.
All we are is kind of quarterbacking everything, but it's my personal opinion. This is something we need to stay out of,
Yep.
or it's going to blow up in our face.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is
Well, the opinion polls are really high on that too. People are saying, "Well, stay out. Just
Yeah.
stay out of this. Just,
Well, I
just
mean,
let them."
it has
do whatever."
backfire written all over it.
Oh, I agree.
And-
I agree.
And
But maybe the CIA will crawl in there and do something.
drone
Black ops.
drone strikes. Drone strikes.
ninja strikes, ninja drones.
Just make sure they're not over Arizona or something.
Yeah, right.
Make sure you know where they're going.
Oh, you get some depleted uranium rounds, you know, shoot them out of your 870. Take care of those drones.
I wish we could have some other people call up and give us their opinion about this. This is something that really needs to be debated amongst the crowds out there.
Yeah, and because this is a worldwide thing that's happening. As the U.S. is trying, you know, all the pressure from the rest of the world for the United States, you know, like I was saying, the great military to come in and enforce this and do something about it. There's so much pressure from other countries. If they feel so strongly about it, well, they got a military too. You know, every country's got one. So send their guys in. Why does it have to be us every single time?
Yeah, I don't think that there's anybody in our White House or anybody that has the the cojones to actually deal with this situation. If they're going to really get involved and deal with it, you just send a nuke in there and blow up whatever you got to. End it so that nobody else can come back
Okay,
on you.
all right, Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's that
All
about,
right.
man? Come on now,
Duke
Joe.
Nukem
You
over
know,
here.
come
If we
on.
had done that in a few other countries, we may not have this problem right now.
General Curtis LeMay was quoted saying, "Bomb Vietnam back to the Stone Age."
There you go.
Boom.
Would have
Wait a
solved
minute,
a
I was
lot.
in Vietnam. That could have been me.
What does
who
Syria
cares?
We
and
could have pulled you out
Nagasaki
before we
have in
bombed.
common?
Thanks, Joe. Send a helicopter.
Saving,
Hey, Zimmer.
saving Private Zimmer.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're gonna pound this one into the dirt, I can tell. But take it away, Joe. I mean, there's a couple things here. I don't know. I guess I'm so fired up about this Syrian thing, and you know, also, well, everybody is concentrating on this so much, and then this executive order that gets slipped under the door. You know, it's the culmination of
It's
the
shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. That's
Yeah.
the technical term.
29 pieces of flair, you know? It's like, come on, guys. So, and, you know, it's the president and, you know, not just the president, but his cronies. Yeah, I said cronies. It's them not being honest to the people that elected them and to the people that pay them. And it's also, you know, in my look, it's unfair to our military to say, hey, you know, just because you're a part of an American military, you have to go over to Syria now and do their fighting for them.
Well, it sounds like Obama's trying to save face on this because he did draw that line in the sand that if they
Yes.
use chemical weapons, we were going to intervene.
Yes.
And it's like, well, oops, spoke too soon.
As usual.
Yep, and he all, you know, he was using the term boots on the ground and stuff like that. And
Yeah, we don't
So-
need that.
hell no.
Yeah, here's another thing. The Iraqi militia has come out and said that if we did intervene or send missiles over or bombs, that they were going to attack U.S. interests in Iraq. Which, hey, that means soldiers and stuff like that. I don't think that we need to. That means we're going to end up either having to draw completely out of there and let go of it all, or we're gonna have to reinsert. Exactly. And I can guarantee you that it'll also affect what's going on in Afghanistan, which is already a bloody place that needs to be.
Yeah.
nuked.
Parking lotted.
Him and the nukes.
I know,
man.
jeez.
Come on.
Yeah,
This
They can
escalated
sail out
quickly.
that Coral
Hey, I
or
used to play
something.
Risk. Come on.
This escalated quickly.
Joe wants to, yeah.
Parking lots galore. We can build big old supermarkets and shopping
Yeah,
malls.
put
Oh,
in-
wait, they already have
put
that.
in-
Lights not needed because it glows at night.
Right, exactly.
No kidding. Yeah, that's
Be
how
like
Joe would
visiting
have it.
Casmalia.
Wow.
Whoa. Well,
I
we-
apologize, everybody in Casmalia. The comments of Joe do not reflect the comments of us on
Do
the
not
firing
reflect the
line.
thoughts of on the firing
Just
line.
kidding. Okay, I
And or
apologize to
AM
you.
1440. But
Wow.
anyway,
But
all
you
the-
could say,
Yeah, it's funny. We had a customer come in the other day, and he's all, "I'm from Casmalia." I said, "Yeah, I can tell you're glowing." He goes, "What? What are you talking about? How'd you know I worked at a nuclear power plant?" It's like,
okay,
"You
so
did?"
we're having fun, we're laughing, but bottom line, you guys, the Syrian stuff, this is very serious, no pun intended. And, also, we did have fun talking about the different shotguns. So if you're thinking about getting a shotgun, use that into your consideration. And as always, tune in next week at 4:05 for more On the Firing Line.